Today we have a plan to do some proposal type and taxonomy chapter, and perhaps even more stuff. But we are here together with Kaue, me, and Robert. So the first 5 minutes, I will share the report link in the chat. We would take our time and highlight basically these sticky notes which you think this proposal is about, or what type of it is. And then we have a discussion why we took this, we ideate on that, and we do another collective voting to see which kind of type suits the best. I first look up a community proposal, as it looked something including like the open source infrastructure. The idea is that it looks like this proposal is created in a way that it's meant for community, and because it also includes the open source aspect of having the infrastructure on which these tools will be running, and because it's open source, it makes it easier to integrate with the communities. But I wouldn't say that this is an open source infrastructure proposal, and would more incline to say this is a community proposal. Another thing here is, so yeah, let's stick to this. Any thoughts on the point I'm making for the community proposal and open source infrastructure, and would you see it the same way, or you will disagree or have some other thoughts why this is not the community proposal or an open source infrastructure?
Devo, I think isn't a product to community, or you would say is a community proposal? Because in my point of view, the proposer owner is trying to provide a tool for community. Not sure what your thoughts are.
So this proposal describes a tool for community, but this is not a community proposal. So yeah, in the sense you actually could be right. We are in this like a halfway here, that if we technically continue to finish this proposal, this could be as well as community proposal. But from the other side, if we are looking always the insight of the proposer who had the vision in mind, what these tool sets would look like and the infrastructure, then yes, I would agree it's more of a tool for the community, which then basically comes to these elements what I mentioned before, like this is a data management tool, and another one is that is a service offering. So as a proposer offering a service to build, and basically offering service which is an AI service, that's more, and that AI service tool is used to manage data, provide safer environment considering privacy aspects. And what do you mean by that?
An aspect of service offering.
So by the safe environment, what do you mean? The communication, the meetings, or the infrastructure, and what makes infrastructure safe?
Yeah, I would say infrastructure. Yesterday, Curtis said, was talking about privacy concerns and everything. This dataverse, this environment that we are creating with this tool, in my opinion, should be considered in the service offering aspects. A way to show it, it's a safe tool. Privacy is being considered. So the participants of this data generating thing could feel safe to participate, to give feedback, to vote. In that sense, a healthy environment. Don't know if I was clear.
Is there a danger that this is more of like an assumption that this is going to be a safe place? Like there is no facts that will make it a safe place. I guess some rules could make it, basically the code of conduct would make it a safe environment. But this proposal is not about creating a code of conduct of how to write an AI service. And that is something that's basically just, yeah, well, this is service offering, but that's how to explain it. That's the goal of the service offering. Okay, I consider it, but I wouldn't say this is a proposal type. Like that this specific proposal is about providing a safe environment considering privacy aspects. Well, it could be, but yeah, that's very tutti, and that will, and almost, yeah, I wonder how many proposals you could label with this tag. And if you would see it on the Swarm proposal, provide safer environment considering privacy aspects, would you think the same thoughts when the same labels are on this proposal?
I think if it's related to AI service offering, yes, because that's the big discussion. That's why they are not unlocking all the features that's possible for the general public. It's an intrinsic aspect of this particular proposal. What type of proposal are we making here?
I guess we don't really want to go deep into that philosophy. Because this chapter's goal is to get the high level. So when you have 100 proposals in a pile, and as a viewer, you have time to look at 3 proposals, for example, would the filtering criterion, and then these proposal types are filtering criterions, would be, I think these like provide a safer environment, filtering criterion would apply to almost all proposals. And if it's not the goal to provide a safe environment by the proposer of his tool or services, then it's kind of awkward in a sense that I'm not sure there will be any proposer who will claim to, yes, we will do this tool totally different way and we're not going to provide a safe environment. So I would, and in that aspect, I would actually remove that as a proposal type. And same thing for the AI has bias, and that is why it's not the general consumption. That's again something which is related to AI, like, but you don't filter proposal based on that the AI has bias. Like all AI has bias, so it's like a statement which is simply true.
Devo, I understand that. If I get all your footage, I can all your footage in Swarm, make a transcript, feed it to artificial intelligence. I can somehow get a profile of you because there's hours and hours of footage of yours. it would be a irresponsible use. We are assuming that is implying that everybody will provide a safe environment in their proposal, so we are not stating the obvious. But you gotta also remember that there's no crime without a prior law that defines it. It's not stating the obvious here, it's about being responsible. That's my opinion. Of course, what type of proposal are we making? It may not be in the right section, but in my point of view, should somehow be, that aspect should be considered. Perhaps not in that particular box.
Okay. Yeah, I do understand your concerns, but and yeah, we cannot really lump these proposals in a way, but in this exercise, the idea is to have a way to filter proposal and differentiate all these proposals out of the different ones. And I'm not saying we're not comparing AI service to offerings to AI service offerings. We are comparing decentralized exchange with this solution to a sustainable open source infrastructure that provides an AI tools to automate meeting documentation. And also we compare it to the medical tools that people need to check their heart rate, or workshops that people do, like this mini proposal workshop. Now, if you have all these 4 proposals in the same pile, which of these proposal types or something which is not yet added here would bring out or categorize these similar proposals? Maybe we could describe, yeah, you said data management service. That could be even, but the thing with the word service is that somebody constantly provides service, but is, yeah, well, it is a service if AI does it, because I'm always like wondering if it.
Yes, you sell a software actually, something like that. It's not a service itself, it's a product. Data management as a product. Tevo.
And if it's a product, then it would be a tool, right? Or we could go actually deeper and say data management AI tool.
Yes.
And
we can merge these sticks.
What would be the more higher up? So what does data management fall under?
Facilitation, isn't it?
I think it's, yeah, one aspect. To me, when I heard facilitation, I only think about just having meetings and kind of coordinating it.
Transcriptions, indexation. No, data. Okay, community is producing knowledge, content, everything. That's what we are calling data. So it's a tool.
Yeah, I'm starting to think this data management as service could be the best option here. What is this? And that service would include a tool. Tools, actually, several tools, or the integrations are tools. The dashboard is tool, the bots are tools. And if you want, and then we can go down even deeper that it's an AI tool. So on the top level, I think the data management as a service is actually pretty good. What's your thoughts, Robert? Would you go with data management as a service? Proposal type.
Yeah, I need to read up on AI to understand some of this stuff, which I'm going to, but just from my prior knowledge with meetings and stuff, couldn't we, it would be good to go with, I mean, AI is good. Because before it was just all legacy systems with meetings and stuff. So, and you know, whatever it is, project management meetings or computer science meetings or whatever, but I'm just not caught up on AI that much. So, but I, you know, is that similar to software as a service? I'm not sure what data management as a service is quite yet. But I've got some kind of idea. I mean, it looks
yeah,
good.
Actually, that's pretty good. Software as a service, because well, this is a software which just deals with data management. What do you think? How?
Data management as a solution, perhaps, instead of service.
Either way, I think this falls under the software as a service. And then, yeah, let's go with that. And why is this proposal fits under a selected format? Because all of this is a software. This proposal is no, but then again, now it's harder to kind of explain, because previously we would have been able to explain that this proposal provides a data management as a service, because the output will be a tool which you can use to retrieve insights and to store your meeting data, basically. But if you put this as software as a service, then this proposal is providing a software that services a human. It's very kind of, it doesn't say much, but maybe this is good that it doesn't say much, because then it comes down to that, okay, it is a software service, and now we know that when we go down to like taxonomy and all the relations to that, because you cannot say software as a service to all the proposals, and that kind of distinguishes the proposals from each other. And if you're looking an AI solution, would you assume to find that under software as a service? Yes, at least my assumption that is that, oh, AI, yes, it has to be something to do with software. Does this train of thought make sense?
I think yes.
Yes, it makes sense to me.
Okay, so why this proposal fits under a selected format?
Because in a marketplace, we would search for SaaS to deal with.
This proposal provides data management as a service, which falls under software as a service. And this proposal provides data management AI. This provides data management AI tool, which falls under software as a service. What other labels you would like to add to the proposal to relate with all the other proposals? So let's steal some of these things from the left side. So data management AI tool. Actually, I would even put them two separate. Data management AI tool I think open source infrastructure, or open source actually. Should the open source be separate to infrastructure? I don't know. I'm just gonna put it in one sentence.
No, Tevo, if we are considered as a tool for the community, it should be in infrastructure, right? Because also
Yeah.
open source would be some sort of service offering, if not the core.
Yeah, yeah. If you say just an open source, then it will be confusing what is. But then again, yeah, it's better to put them together. Then AI tool, AI service, and from the examples here, we did not discuss about anything about token, taxes, lending, assets, synthetic assets. So what we have are so data management. That would be virtual asset management. I don't even video asset management. I would want to mention something which relates to meetings, but it's odd to kind of put that on a proposal. Like, what is this proposal proposing to have a meeting? That's not it.
Community events, Tevo. Think something like managing, I don't know. There are too many managings.
Disseminating video assets, because right now it's to target video assets, I think. Well, it's more than that, but based on our previous discussion, it looked like the main hurdle we have to capture the information from video assets. API, do we have an API? That's a good question. That is something we could actually ask from the Cortes if there is a way to basically integrate your own tool through API into this service. Oracle, education, developer, gambling, infrastructure, legal, environment, social, marketplace, gaming, real estate, AI, just AI. Yeah, marketplaces could be. Because it's the big goal is the infrastructure, so that if you already have infrastructure, it will turn into a marketplace if there is a demand for AI's services on that infrastructure. But it's the cost model is going to be a confusing one. But I would already say that yes, this is a marketplace. At least a full solution it is. I would actually even say that this is AI service marketplace, like a very specific thing, not like NFT marketplace or anything. We cover everything. If we go through the previous sessions, we have bots, basically AI, we have dashboard where we have stuff on it, where we see data. And on the problem sides, we know that more and more people are using video conferencing technology. Creates a lot of inefficiencies. Not able to attend. Perhaps something like time management. But yeah, the time management doesn't come really out. It's just using that service would win time. This is as much as I came up with right now. I wonder if like natural language processing, would that make sense to add it? Because this is what it does. Let's join to the motherboard. Let's do a quick voting here. I'm gonna give 4 votes to everybody. Let's assume the API option is available. And let's see what we did. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So what we got was that data management open source infrastructure made the most sense, and the rest of options were like, yeah, makes sense, but not too sure. So something to consider. And that concludes the chapter 4, proposal type and taxonomy. Now, as we are here, Robert, what do you think of this exercise? Do you think it was useful? And how could we do it better next time?
I think it was very useful. It was it kind of it brought everything a little more simple. Everything's a little more simpler to understand now after this whole exercise, and I kind of have an idea where to go now, on my own to prepare for what we're doing next. So I think it was good.
How were your thoughts? Yeah, already prepared the sticky here.
Yes, I was going to, but I have to ask you, Tevo, for instance, in IDSK or Sway, we have the ability to put tags on the proposal, right? Shouldn't we get I don't know what the limits for those tags, but I think we could have in this section we could have the same amount of votes that Sway or IDSK can handle for the proposal tags. I don't know. So if the owners want to propose, he will just get it from the suggestions. I don't know. But for the rest, I think it's a great exercise. Thanks, Stefan.
Yeah, the problem with these citations, we never know the rules. And for the Catalyst experience, I don't actually even remember having the ability to write tags. I think there were self-selected tags by the admin side based on previous funding round. And so it was more forced. And this thing wouldn't actually even come up in the Catalyst ecosystem. But it's why there was this option, and don't know about this the amount you can have. I would put all of these tags actually into a proposal if I would be the proposal owner, even though one of them didn't get any vote. But as I understood, if there also the innovation fund provides an opportunity to filter based on the tags, that's another question. If it does, then the more tags you have, the higher chance you have to get into a pool of proposal that matches the shares from the voter or the assessor.
Or even the team, so you won't get disqualified on Sway.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I think the natural language processing I looked into that. That looks pretty good when you're talking about the medical. You were talking about medical rec. In a way, you can integrate that. I know medical records have nothing to do with it. I mean, that looks pretty good. Maybe we could consider that next time or something. The NLP, maybe.
yeah, I will already add it in because this service expected to be provided. So if you look at the AI services, the first expectation or outcome what people in the previous call will have wanted is great meeting summaries. From what, well, we have this meeting right now, and it requires natural language processing in order to get the data to the summary. So
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
totally included in already in a sense to this proposal.
Okay, I kind of understand that.
Oh, well, we do have 45 minutes left. We are 3 people here. We got just started. I think we got our hands warm. Then why not take another quick exercise, which is supposed to take 20 minutes. So let's see. Stakeholder network. So when we go down here, I have again white stickies, which are meant to be examples and to be deleted, not to get confused. And these examples are for the stakeholders, and then we describe how that stakeholder will benefit. And then I added a purple sticky here from previous sessions about multiple community builders should share the vision to build infrastructure. So including in, so that to keep in mind that our stakeholders are also a specific community in the Catalyst who are interested in AI service infrastructures, and just to keep that in mind to do that. Let's see. Join to the Marburg, and let's start again with brainstorming of who are the stakeholders, or write in the Zoom chat of who could be the stakeholders for this AI infrastructure and tools. And I'm going to turn this purple sticky into one of the options. Okay, I kept a few stickies as a white because I don't see any of them as a stakeholder, but let's go over them and just to see if we can delete them. So organization or company. Do you think any of these organizations or companies will be the stakeholder in this network? Actually, we have one. I think the Insight IQ is the current proposer team is one of the stakeholders themselves as the platform. So basically the ones who are going to spend time to figure out that. Another one is Catalyst developers. And that is because this proposal is meant for Project Catalyst. And if it's an open source, there's a good chance that other Catalyst developers would be interested to have a say on the infrastructure and help to kind of build it or audit it. And that was brought up in one of the Catalyst town hall breakout rooms. And yeah, actually, when we go through this, let's do this, how the stakeholders benefit. So the vision builders, I think they also want the solution. Well, actually, they benefit by getting the grant, the receiving resources to build useful tools for community. Catalyst developers, how they will benefit. One example to be alignment on a platform that can be used to offer their own services, data management services.
Their own data management service instance, considering it's open source, or if you hire as a service. The developer in a particular team will run their instance of the software, right? With their libraries and such.
Well, if it's a alignment on platform, then they may not even run their own instance. They just may.
They just upload the things. Yes. Okay.
Well, you're right. This could be two things. Data management, instance, services, and then to offer data management tools. So one thing is to integrate the service to the platform, and another option is to build a service on that platform. Anything else what Catalyst developers will get out of this proposal? What is that? Funding mechanism for voting community.
Funding mechanism, voting community. Stakeholder.
And so you mean the people who vote on the proposals?
The voting community is it's an important stakeholder. Otherwise, if you don't convince them, we are not. And not because they will use the service. Stakeholder as a public of interest for the proposer. Don't know.
So you still mean the Catalyst proposal voters here?
Or sway or deep funding, any funding mechanism.
Okay, yeah, we want to go.
In order to
now I understand. Yeah.
To consider the voters as a public of interest for the proposer. Because bottom line is we gotta convince them, right?
Then I would also remove the Catalyst developers into other developers, considering it may not be the Catalyst. And here I'm also going to see other developers. So these are like scope down stakeholders, but the main stakeholders are the voters, other developers. Okay, what do these voters get out of that proposal? How they benefit when this proposal is being voted on?
Theoretically, they have a skin in the game, ecosystem will grow, and the assets will value. Theoretically. But I think if I have the power to vote, I have a voting power. I see this tool, which I am excited about it, and will make management team lives easier. I would like to see it developed. So I'm a voter now, but I'll continue a stakeholder when I get the tool and apply to my project. Was it clear, Tevo?
Somewhat was hard to encapsulate into sticky note. Because we started with the skin in the game, but right now it somewhat isn't really about that. Like if you look at half of these votes of how they are gone, it's like hard to tell is that the skin in the game. Yeah, they hold data. Do they still hold data? It's like the game could be only like lasting from snapshot to voting, and that's that. But I do agree that they have the chance to benefit from the expectation of the tool. So chance to support building a tool which has expectation to improve community operations. And then we can also put the other developers, Singularity developers under here. the catalyst community, would that be the voters?
Or the teams that could benefit from it.
So teams who use virtual meetings to add value to their project. And they could be, but they won't necessarily are. But I guess the voting community, because they are holding the value, they are more highly likely to be the catalyst community, or that token holder community. Okay, so when we talk about teams who use virtual meetings to add value to their projects, what benefits they could get from this proposal?
Efficiency and scale in the data treatment.
You also could have, usually for a project, you have meeting minutes. There's one person that does that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some way to include that person in the project that has, instead of him just taking meeting minutes, you might have, there may be other things that could add to the project that he needs to, maybe use wasting his resources. I don't know. I mean, I never really developed software, so I don't know how you'd go about that. So
I think
Just a
what's
thought.
Robert saying is this tool will allow for the facilitator to have other tasks and add more value to the team instead of just
Yeah.
taking notes, isn't it?
Yep, that's exactly correct.
I
So-
wrote including members who usually spend their focus taking the meeting notes, who usually focus taking the meeting minutes. Okay, I didn't say what is good. Including members in discussions who usually focus taking the meeting minutes. Liberating members. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not too sure how to describe the benefit. Also, we mentioned that before. Now, if I remember correctly, somewhere here, I feel like we answered that already somewhere else. What was that? Teams who use virtual meetings to add value to their project, and the question is how they benefit. Humans are not good at retaining and tracking. The results may not be readily available. So these are all the problems we are actually answering. So we could revert that. The results may not be readily. More meeting results will be readily available. Yeah, more time to be creative is like an option, and how to look back at history. So something related to history, more coherent. Progressed means like it goes in sequence. Incoherent would mean that these different meetings have a more like it's more understandable that they are the same thing, or like so I think these are two different things actually. More process track of meetings, so simplified processes, simplified and automated processes to manage meeting history. More meeting results will be readily available. Yeah, you wrote here better time using of a certain once the version wants to be available to perform tasks. And yeah, that's basically So there is a lot of benefit for the teams. Now a bit high level, does the Cardano community get something out of that? And I would say yes. I would say that a potential for, how you call this, a unicorn application, or that mega trend.
A paradigm.
Killer app, potential platform to provide community a killer application. Because AI is on the rise. Any other thoughts why the Cardano community will benefit from this proposal? I would say potential to bring out ideas, feedback, and results from those who are not the loudest in the community. So if there was some researcher coming along in one of the swarm sessions and said something, and nobody took a note of that, or took a note and not really was able to use, so now it goes into the data source comparable with all other data. Well, does any stakeholders come up right now which does not seem to be addressed, or you feel left out yourself? If not, then we have as good example of those 5 stakeholders related to this proposal. Now the question is, which stakeholder this proposal will engage the most? And then we will have to answer why will we engage them the most. I wonder, do we need a quick voting here? Or it's safe to say that teams who use virtual meetings to add value to their project is our main stakeholder audience?
Yes, that's my first option, Timo.
Robert, are you here to defy us?
I think that's good. That says meetings adding value to the project. Virtual, okay. I think that's I don't know if we need to vote. I think I mean that looks like a pretty good whatever you guys think. I think that's pretty good. Value to, you always want to add value to the project, so
All right.
I guess that's simple.
Then let's go with this stakeholder. Teams who use virtual meetings to add value to their projects. And why will you engage them the most? Because they will be using the tools the most. And creating value.
Why will them engage the most? Usually these project teams, they have lots of meetings. And because of that, they will have to manage that information.
I did notice a lot that because of course it's project management thing, but we use more, agile project management is used more often because it's software development anyway. So it's used more often than the traditional waterfall method or whatever, but Is that something that we could consider? I don't know. I mean, I know that that's more of a software development thing, but maybe that just came to mind on different teams that have meetings, but maybe just throwing something out there.
Yeah, and I think the software development, well, it's also a project. Let's pull the software. So that is totally correct assumption. And I think that also covers like both the ones who build software and those who create workshops, for example. So yeah, that was chapter 5, stakeholder network. Thanks for joining mini proposal workshop sessions. That solution part to them and see if we get enough audience to ask them what they think about this. Actually, I'm gonna hide this. I'm gonna put the frame here. I'm gonna hide it. And then we have that voting, and let's then compare our votes with the previous results.